The wind on Dalna, usually a whisper of the planet's ancient sorrows, felt different that night. It wasn't the usual chill that settled deep into the bones, nor the mournful sigh through the jagged peaks. No, this was a more profound cold, a tremor that began not in the air, but deep within him, a shuddering wave in the very fabric of the force itself. He stood on the precipice overlooking the memorial scar, the night of sorrow, unfolding below in a somber procession of flickering lanterns and hushed grief. He had prepared for this localized anguish, the collective heartache of a people remembering their deepest wound. But this was something else entirely. A sensation, raw and sickening, rippled through him, originating far, far away. It was a wave of pure, unbridled chaos and fear, swelling and building like a tempest, rolling in from beyond Jeddah. It wasn't just a premonition, it was a direct current, an almost physical manifestation of terror and discord. And he knew its source, or rather, its vector, the insidious influence of the burgeoning cult, the path of the open hand. This was his burden, his singular, unique connection to the galaxy. He wasn't just force-sensitive, he was an emotional seismograph for the universe itself. Where others might sense a vague disturbance, or perhaps a localized tragedy, he perceived the great surging tides of collective emotion, the catastrophic shifts in the galactic psyche. He could feel the growing despair of a subjugated populace, the burgeoning anger of a star system wronged, the insidious creep of fear as it propagated through 1,000 worlds. Imagine, if you will, having the capacity to sense every tremor in the emotional landscape of millions, billions, even trillions of sentient beings. For him, a wave of chaos originating light years away was as tangible as the wind on his face. This ability, though a profound gift, was also an agonizing cross to bear. It meant he was an incredible strategist, a protector beyond compare. He could anticipate the ebb and flow of galactic conflicts, not just by analyzing data or troop movements, but by feeling the rising tide of fear that preceded an attack, or the subtle shift in morale that foreshadowed a rebellion. He could direct resources, deploy aid, or warn against impending threats with an almost eerie prescience, saving countless lives by understanding the very emotional undercurrents that drove the galaxy's turmoil. But what an immense, agonizing price he paid for this foresight. Every act of suffering, every ripple of despair, every scream lost to the void, it all registered within him. The weight of galactic suffering wasn't abstract. It was a constant low hum beneath his skin, a pressure behind his eyes, a perpetual ache in his very soul. He carried the sum total of galactic fear, anger, and sorrow on his shoulders, a burden that would crush most into dust. Yet, he bore it. He bore it with a quiet, solemn grace that was almost heartbreaking to witness. There were no grand pronouncements, no outward displays of the immense internal strain. He moved through the galaxy, a silent sentinel, his gaze often distant, lost in the unfathomable depths of collective pain. But his actions always resolute, always aimed at alleviating that very suffering. He listened, he absorbed, and then he acted, not for glory, but out of a profound, innate sense of duty to protect those whose terror resonated so deeply within him. His existence was a paradox, a being of immense power, yet utterly vulnerable to the suffering he sought to quell. He was a beacon, yes, but also a sponge, absorbing the very darkness he fought against. His was a solitary path, illuminated by an unbearable light of cosmic empathy. He never sought to escape it, understanding that this burden was his unique contribution, his terrible gift. And so, on Dalna, even as the localized sorrow of the night enveloped him, he focused on the distant storm, the encroaching shadow of the path of the open hand, already strategizing, already preparing, already carrying the weight of what was to come. For him, peace was not an absence of conflict, but a momentary lull in the unending symphony of galactic woe. It's a powerful thought, isn't it? To be so intimately connected, so profoundly empathetic, that the entire universe's emotional state becomes your own. This character reminds us that some burdens, though immense, are born with a quiet strength that truly defines heroism. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this unique connection to the Force. What do you think it would truly feel like to be an emotional seismograph for an entire galaxy? Share your insights in the comments below. And if you found this exploration thought-provoking, please consider subscribing for more journeys into the untold stories of the Force. Your support helps us continue these deep dives.